The email arrived at 3:47 p.m. on a Friday, just as I was wrapping up my fourth consecutive 70-hour week. Congratulations, Victoria. You've been selected for the senior director position. Please see HR on Monday morning to complete the paperwork. I stared at the screen, tears blurring my vision. 5 years of grinding, sacrificing weekends, missing family gatherings, living on takeout, and ambition. It had finally paid off. Senior Director of Marketing at 31. With a salary that would let me pay off my student loans and maybe finally afford a life outside the office. I called my mom first, still riding the high. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," she said, but her tone was oddly flat. "Have you told Marcus?" My older brother. Of course that would be her first concern. "No, why would I?" "He's having a really hard time, Vicky. Maybe don't mention the money part when you tell him." "Mom, I worked for this. I earned this." "I know, honey. Just be sensitive. You know how he gets." I knew exactly how he got. Marcus, 3 years older, and somehow still convinced the world of his success without effort. Marcus, who'd been fired from 6 jobs in 4 years for various combinations of not showing up, insubordination, and what his last employer called gross incompetence. Marcus, who had 2 kids with his wife Brittany and used them as an excuse for why everyone else should solve his problems. I decided not to call them at all. By Sunday night, I regretted that decision. My phone had been blowing up with texts from various family members, all variations of the same theme. Think about what's best for the family. Marcus has children to feed. Don't be selfish. Blood is thicker than water. The story, as I pieced together, was this. Mom had told Marcus about my promotion. Marcus had immediately decided that I should either give him the job or give him half my salary. When Mom gently suggested that wasn't how jobs worked, he'd gone nuclear, calling every aunt, uncle, and cousin with his sob story about his selfish sister who cares more about money than family. I was contemplating changing my number when my dad called. "Victoria, we need to discuss this promotion situation." "There's no situation, Dad. I got promoted. End of story. Your brother has 2 children. Your brother has a wife with a job and 2 hands that could also hold a job. Don't be flippant. A man needs to provide for his family." Then he should have thought of that before getting fired from Costco for stealing electronics. Silence. Then, that was never proven. "Dad, they had him on camera. The point is, he needs this more than you do. You're single. No kids, you can live on less." I'm hanging up now. "I already called your boss." My blood turned to ice. "You what?" I explained the situation to Mr. Davidson. How it would be better for everyone if Marcus got this opportunity instead. He seemed very interested in what I had to say. I hung up and immediately called my boss's cell. No answer. Then his assistant. Also no answer. It was Sunday night. Of course they weren't answering. I didn't sleep that night. Monday morning, I arrived at the office at 6:30 a.m., 3 hours before my HR appointment. My boss's car was already in the parking lot, which was unusual. So was the head of HR's and legals. My stomach dropped. At 7 a.m., my desk phone rang. "Victoria, could you come to conference room A, please?" The walk felt like a funeral march. Inside the conference room sat my boss, Greg Davidson, HR Director, Linda Martinez, and 2 people I didn't recognize. A man and woman in serious suits that screamed legal. "Sit down, Victoria," Linda said gently. Too gently. "Am I being fired?" The words tumbled out. "What?" "No." Greg looked genuinely shocked. "Why would you think?" "No, Victoria. You're not fired. But we need to discuss some serious allegations that were brought to our attention." "My father." "Your father called me yesterday," Greg confirmed. "He made some very interesting claims about you. Said you've been stealing from the company to fund a gambling addiction. That you manipulated performance reviews. That you threatened to blackmail me if you didn't get this promotion." I felt the blood drain from my face. "He said what?" "He also said," Linda interjected, "that your brother Marcus would be willing to testify to all of this in court, as he'd witnessed your crimes firsthand." That's insane. Marcus has never even been to this office. "We know," the male lawyer said. "We checked visitor logs. But that's not the interesting part." He slid a piece of paper across the table, a printout of a LinkedIn message. From Marcus Chen to Greg Davidson. Subject: Business Proposition. If you fire my sister and hire me instead, I can guarantee the fraud investigation goes away. I have documents that prove she's been embezzling. Meet me and let's discuss terms. I'm much more reasonable than her, and I actually need this job. Win-win. When did you receive this? I asked. 2 hours after your father's call, Greg said, which was interesting timing. Even more interesting was the attachment. Another paper slid across. A crudely photoshopped bank statement showing deposits from our company account to an account with my name on it. Except the account number was wrong. The bank logo was from a bank I'd never used, and the amounts were ridiculous. Who embezzles exactly $10,000 every month for a year? This is fake, I said. Obviously, Linda agreed. Our forensic accountant took one look and laughed. But here's where it gets really interesting. We decided to play along. I don't understand. We invited your brother in for an interview, the female lawyer explained. Told him we were very interested in his information about your criminal activities. My mouth went dry. And? He showed up with a box of evidence. All fabricated, but in his eagerness to prove you were a criminal, he accidentally confessed to several actual crimes. Greg pulled out his phone and hit play on a recording. Marcus's voice filled the room. And I know all the passwords because I've been keylogging her computer for months. See, here's her banking info, her social media, even her dating apps. I've been collecting everything. Oh, and these company files, I got those from her laptop when she wasn't home. Had to break in through the window, but she never noticed. Been doing it for years, building my case. I've got recordings too, from the bugs I put in her apartment. Linda stopped the recording. He went on for 45 minutes, confessed to identity theft, breaking and entering, cyberstalking, wiretapping, and conspiracy to commit fraud. All recorded with his full consent. He signed the interview release form. I stared at them. He's been stalking me. For approximately 3 years, based on his timeline, the male lawyer confirmed. He knew about your promotion before you did because he's been reading your emails. He's been trying to sabotage your career so you'd have to financially support him. The performance reviews, I whispered. Last year, someone kept changing my submitted reports. That was him. He showed us how he did it. Proud of it, actually. Linda's voice was disgusted. He also took credit for the anonymous complaint about you that we received 6 months ago. The one that triggered a full investigation and found nothing. My hands were shaking. Why? Why would he do this? Money. Greg said simply. He told us his plan. Get you fired, use your crimes as blackmail to force you to support him, or take your job and income for himself. He seemed to think we'd be impressed by his initiative. Where is he now? In custody, the female lawyer said. We called the police while he was still presenting his evidence. He's being charged with multiple felonies. I sat back, trying to process everything. My brother, my own brother, had been systematically trying to destroy my life for 3 years. And my parents. My father was in on it, I said. It wasn't a question. We don't have evidence of that, Linda said carefully, but given the coordination of the calls. I need a restraining order. Already in progress, the male lawyer assured me. Against your brother. We'd recommend one against your father as well. And my job? Greg smiled for the first time. Your promotion stands. In fact, given what you've apparently been dealing with while still exceeding every performance metric, I'm recommending you for the executive track program. Anyone who can handle this level of personal sabotage while maintaining your professional standards deserves fast tracking. I don't know what to say. Say you'll help us prosecute, the female lawyer said. Your brother's activities weren't limited to you. We found evidence he's been doing similar things to former employers, ex-girlfriends, even your parents. My parents? He's been siphoning money from their accounts for years, small amounts they wouldn't notice, adding up to approximately $47,000. I thought about all the times my parents have struggled financially, all the times they'd asked me to help out just this once, all while Marcus was stealing from them. They won't believe it, I said. They'll say I set him up. Probably, Linda agreed. But that's not your problem anymore. I signed the paperwork for my promotion in a daze. The salary was even higher than I'd expected. Hazard pay. Greg joked weakly, for what I'd been through. By lunch, my phone was exploding again. Word had gotten out about Marcus's arrest. The family narrative was predictable. I set up my poor brother, jealous of his family life, trying to destroy him out of spite. My mother's voice now was bitter. How could you? He has children. He made one mistake and you've ruined his life. You've always been jealous of him. Well, congratulations, Victoria. You win. You've torn this family apart. I didn't respond. What was the point? They'd never believe that their favorite son had betrayed us all. That afternoon, the detective on the case called. Ms. Chen, we've reviewed your brother's computer. There's a lot. Photos, recordings, logs of your movements. He's been tracking you for years. Tracking me for what? I asked. He was planning to discredit you and take over your life. He believed he deserved your success. That's unbelievable. His attorney is building an insanity defense, the detective said. And there's more. We found messages with someone labeled Dad about a second phase. Of course, my father. What was phase 2? Getting you committed. They even had a doctor willing to help. I sat down, shaken. My own father and brother were plotting to discredit me to gain control over my life. You should stay somewhere else for a while, the detective advised. We found hidden devices in your apartment. 17. I was horrified. My company relocated me temporarily and arranged security. Marcus showed up at my office demanding his job, violating a restraining order. He was arrested again. Calls poured in from relatives, repeating the same line. Family helps family. No one acknowledged what had really happened. When I sent them the report, they called it fake. Aunt Helen said, even if it's true, he only did it out of desperation. He tried to take everything from me. You can't prove that was the intention. It was all documented. Family forgives. I hung up. 6 months later, Marcus pled not guilty by reason of mental illness. His lawyer painted him as a struggling father and me as the cold sibling who refused to help. The prosecution showed a different version: repeated theft, lies, and escalating behavior. The evidence spoke for itself. My father testified, claiming he had been manipulated and didn't know how far things would go. But texts showed otherwise. Dad, phase 2 is ready. Doctor is on board. Marcus, great. When can we access her accounts? Dad, within 72 hours. Then we file for conservatorship. Marcus, and about the job. Dad, leverage the family angle. My father's defense quickly unraveled. Marcus was convicted, 15 years in prison. My father received a suspended sentence. My parents divorced not because of what he did to me, but because he betrayed her financially. She still doesn't speak to me. I'm told she says one child is in prison and the other is dead to her. As for me, I'm thriving. I'm up for VP. I bought a secure new apartment, changed my name slightly, and got the therapy I needed to heal from the betrayal. Marcus writes letters from prison blaming me. I forward them to my lawyer. The last message came from his wife, Brittany, not to reconcile, but to ask for money for their kids' tuition. They're your family, she said. Their father misused money from their own grandparents, I replied. That's gone. It was all spent. Then maybe more attention should have been paid. You're heartless. No, I said. I'm free. And I truly am. Free from guilt, control, and the illusion that love means allowing others to use you. Free from hiding success to make others comfortable. Free to build a life that's mine. When my therapist asked if I regret how things ended with my family, I didn't need to answer. My peace said it all. I regret that they made those choices, I said. I regret that my brother felt entitled to my life instead of building his own. I regret that my parents enabled him until it destroyed everything. But do I regret protecting myself? Never. Even though you've lost your entire family, I didn't lose them, I corrected. I escaped them. There's a difference. The promotion that started all this, it's just a line on my resume now. The real achievement was surviving a family that saw my success as their birthright, my independence as selfishness, and my life as something they could steal. Marcus thought he deserved my promotion because he was a man who needed to provide. Instead, he's a cautionary tale about what happens when entitlement meets opportunity. And me, I'm the woman who refused to be erased, even when the people trying to erase me shared my DNA. Turns out that's worth more than any promotion.